Hello from the USA Team Mechanics. I'm Calvin Jones with the Park Tool Company.
And Brad Cole with USA Cycling.
This video will outline the preparation of the competition race bike for use at the elite level.
The checklist highlights the expectations of USA Cycling as to how your bicycle should arrive at a World Championship event.
If you are uncomfortable doing your own work, please use a professional mechanic. If you do your own work, please have a professional double check your work.
All equipment should have been tested during training rides and stressed under race conditions.
It is the responsibility of the athlete to bring spare equipment. This video will also review at a minimum what equipment to bring. Thank you. Spare equipment you should bring should include, at a minimum, a rear derailleur, a shifter, a chain, replaceable hanger, bash guard, and shoe cleats. Also bring spare brake pads, rotors, bars, tires and tubes, and if at all possible, a spare swing arm. Test headset adjustment. Headset should turn smoothly without binding or play. If play is detected, isolate source of play, either in bearing system or in fork sliders. Service or replace headset as necessary. Tighten bar bolts. Bar end plugs must be present and secure. Check saddle rail bolts for adequate security. Check seat post security in frame. Push saddle side to side. Saddle should not easily twist in frame. Inspect saddle rails and molding for damage. Check alignment of brake pads to rotor. Check all brake caliper mounting bolt security. Check rotor bolt security or security of rotor lock ring. Inspect all brake line for damage or leakage. Check compression nut for security. Pull brake pads and inspect. Replace any worn pads as necessary. Spin rotors and check for adequate alignment. Replace rotors as necessary. Inspect rotor and replace if there is any noticeable wear. Inspect derailleur for alignment and check for worn pivots. Replace derailleur as necessary. Inspect inner cable and housing for adequate length, cuts, and fraying. Check security of all derailleur system fasteners. This includes hanger bolts, derailleur mounting bolts, cable pinch bolts, and both the lower pulley bolt and upper pulley bolt tightness. Check shifting performance for both the index settings and the inner limit and outer limit screw settings. After testing performance with shift lever, test limit screw settings by pushing rear derailleur toward both outer and innermost cogs. Shifting toward spokes with force will test limit settings. Do not allow chain to shift over last cog. Inspect each and every rivet, roller, and side plate of chain, even on new chains. Measure chain for wear. Replace any suspect or worn chain. Chains will fail at the weak link. Again, inspect each and every roller, pin, and side plate. Check all fastener security on chain retention system and crankset. Check that chainring bolts and all hardware of chain retention system are properly tight. Inspect that rollers and guides are correctly positioned to the bash guard. Test system's ability to hold chain, attempting to jam or jump chain, pedaling both forward and backward. Inspect free hub. It should turn smoothly with good pull engagement. Check for free hub bearing play. Inspect each cog for wear and replace cassette as necessary. Check lock ring security. Cog should not appear hooked or shiny smooth at roller contact point. Check bottom bracket bearings. Grab both arms and apply lateral stress, checking for bearing play. Spin cranks while holding frame. Check for rough or worn bearings. Replace bearings as necessary. Check crank arm bolt tightness. Tighten using manufacturer's torque settings.
Flex pedals side to side, checking for bearing play. Rotate pedals, checking for roughness, grinding, or vibration in the bearings. Secure the pedal assembly. Inspect and secure all set screws and pedal traction pins, and remember to replace any worn or damaged pins. Secure the pedals to the right and left crank arms.
Inspect shoe system. Inspect laces, Velcro, and straps for wear and security. Check cleats for wear and cleat mounting screw security. Inspect front and rear hubs. Grab rim and pull laterally side to side, checking for play. Spin wheel and feel for worn bearings. Service hubs as necessary.
Rotate wheels while secured to the frame, fork, or in a truing stand. Check your rims for any lateral or radial deviations or damage. Have a professional mechanic check your wheels for proper spoke tension and spoke tension balancing. On all high-performance downhill, freeride, and extreme forks, inspect fork for damage of the stem, steer tube, upper and lower crown assemblies, right and left upper stanchion tubes, lower legs, and through axle retention systems. Rotate fork side to side to verify brake and derailleur housing is secure and is not being pinched or binding under load. Secure all fork fittings to manufacturer's recommended torque values. If you have any fork performance issues or concerns, have an authorized service center check your fork.
Check security of bolts at all rear suspension pivots. Grab rear wheel and force side to side laterally to test play in rear suspension. Service pivot bearings as necessary. Remove the rear wheel and remove the rear shock. Test rear suspension for smoothness. Service as necessary. Inspect entire frame system. Inspect each and every joint and weld for cracks. Inspect all bonds of carbon fiber frames. Please see the downhill bike prep checklist in your World's Handbook. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to seeing you in Quebec.